Six-Gun Bill Sutton was an outlaw. They say he'd killed nearly a dozen men, but he'd say closer to 30. A price had been put on his head for $200, and it seemed like everywhere he went, someone was trying to collect. He'd managed to shoot his way out of a saloon in Los Gallos, but his current predicament appeared much worse than any gunfight. They say after only a few days in the desert, even the hardest of men will break. They say when your skin begins to peel and crack under the red-hot sun, you start to see things, to imagine things that aren't really there. When he came across the old Indian shaman, Six-Gun Bill Sutton had been lost in the desert for 20 days and 20 nights. Shaman were fortune tellers. They were believed to have the ability to see into the future. He asked the old Indian, "Is this the end for me?" To which the shaman replied, "No, it is not. I have seen into your future, and I know how your life will end. You will not die until the day you see a crow flying upside down." As he walked through the desert, he realized that he had never in his life seen a crow flying upside down. In fact, no one he had met had ever seen a crow flying upside down. It was a known fact that Indian shamans of the Old West were never wrong. Six-Gun Bill Sutton took this to mean he had a very long time left to live. He walked for hundreds of miles before he reached the end of California and came upon a small town known as San Francisco. As he walked through the town, he thought to himself, "I can do anything I want." The words of the shaman had made him believe he was invincible. In the next few days, Six-Gun Bill Sutton gambled, robbed, and drank.
Hey there, cutie honey.
More than any man San Francisco had ever seen. He established such a reputation in the small town that his face was quickly recognized. For that short time, Six-Gun Bill Sutton lived a truly happy existence. He feared no one. It was his total lack of fear that allowed him to be caught. The two men who had caught him were bounty hunters from Oregon. They knew that collecting the bounty on a notorious killer would be quite difficult. It seemed easiest to take him deep into the mountains and kill him there. As they prepared to shoot him, they couldn't help but notice how very calm he was. Most men would be begging for their lives at this point. It was almost a shame to kill such a brave man. "I hate to break it to you fellas," he said, "but this ain't how I'm supposed to go out." And he leapt off the cliff. As he fell headfirst towards the ground, he was slightly curious as to how he would cheat death this time. He knew the old Indian in the desert would not lie, so this couldn't be the end. Death would not claim him until he saw a crow flying upside down. That's what he was thinking when he saw it. Six-Gun Bill Sutton was an outlaw. They say he'd killed nearly a dozen men, but he'd say closer to 30. He'd managed to shoot his way out of nearly every city in California. But it was nothing more than an old crow and the words of an Indian shaman that had finally done him in.